it forced some of them, Thomas, to come up with something to say. And, some of them I was like so shocked by. Like I don't know, I wasn't expecting some of it, and some of it was again details that I think we normally wouldn't see until further in the season. So just to have it like come out so rapid fire succession from all of these guys was a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
But it was
got
also
real
very
deep,
interesting.
real fast, real fast.
Yeah. Yeah. But I thought they took it all seriously. I mean, I think there's
Yeah,
been seasons where guys would have been like trying to skirt it a little. I mean, I was so impressed that like one by one they were all, not only were they so well spoken about it, but they were just so honest with her, which I thought was interesting. But
yeah. I mean, and
some of them
she,
just really,
she kind of gave them, I don't want to say an out, but she was like, tell me about like a time that like you ghosted someone or something, and this guy was like, no,
yeah,
my wife died. No, like I dealt with addiction, and I was like, okay, we're just
yeah.
going in
She
for
set
it.
the bar pretty low.
Yeah,
Like I'm just like, which I
they could
think
have
she was
just
just
told like
wanting
a
them to
funny
fess up so
story.
little. Yeah, and instead, I mean, I was so shocked. So again, I know you didn't see the first episode, so like Connor B is like talking about, the addiction issue that he had, and like, how that like spiraled out of control with like, his relationship and stuff. Like on night one, he came in dressed like a cat. So like, I'm like, he's the
Oh,
musician Cat who
cat.
they has like
Okay.
a great connection with her and is very funny. So when he came out with that, like, I mean, he gives the preface like saying, that he this is not a good story and whatever. I was kind of like, oh, like what did he do? Like it can't be that big. And he starts talking, and I'm just like, oh, I wasn't prepared for that,
Right, right.
but he was so honest, and like he gave a like, and again gave a lot of description where some of these things they could have just been like, I'm just gonna kind of be like, well, I had a little
Yeah.
too much to drink and I cheated on my girl. Like he really like told her a story, which I thought was said a lot, and she seemed receptive about it. I don't know, it's just, I think it's hard to think of the like, there's so many of those guys in the room who were like, oh, I cheated on someone, I cheated, and I think that's such one of those things that can be such a deal breaker. And so it'll be really interesting to see like how that plays into the rest of the season, if she's able, if that's not so much of a deal breaker for her, or if that's something that ultimately kind of changes the way the season plays out for these guys.
Yeah. Do you think like it kind of like will accelerate the season since like
It could it could, because I mean that's a lot of
or accelerating like
information and a
getting
lot
to
of,
know each other, I guess.
yeah, yeah, no, but it's something that a lot of these things typically come out during one-on-one dates with the guys. So, it takes a while for even the guys who end up being in, let's say, the final 10 to finally go through and they all have a one-on-one date. It's not until very far into the season that happens. So a lot of these guys, she essentially got that moment where she got to have a little bit of that, a taste of that.
Yeah.
And so I think it'll accelerate it a little bit, and I think it'll make it harder for her to not push for more information from the guys who weren't on the date, right? Because now she
Yeah.
has this room full of guys that she's got dirt on, like detailed information. It's not
Yeah.
just like a statement saying, "Oh, they cheated on someone." It's like she knows the story, and like, and again, we just saw the edited version, so like I'm sure the actual
Ooh,
story that
true,
they told
true.
is like more detailed. So I mean, that's a lot of information. And then these
Yeah.
other guys, I think it could either, like, she could either be like, oh, they're so forthcoming and honest, like I value them a lot, and that goes a lot further, or some of them, if it's things she didn't like, then that
Yeah.
could kind of take them off her contention list. I don't know, it's very interesting. It's a little unexpected.
And I
I
wonder if
don't
like
know,
any of the guys were like trying to sandbag themselves a little bit, maybe.
maybe. I mean, I definitely think we'll just go back to Thomas, because oh my gosh, he's just the worst. Like, I knew on night one, I was like, there's something about him. He's just he has like this smooth air about him, and he really likes what he's saying, and he likes everything about himself. And when he was giving her his response, it just felt like he was like, all right, it's gonna come out that I did all of these things, so I'm just gonna say it all. But it was so awkward, and it wasn't like, a lot of the guys kind of had this like this air that they came in, and it was like they knew that they were trying to like recover from what they were about to say, like they were trying to like brace for the fact that they were giving some like an answer that was less than ideal. And he just kind of is just like all over the place, and he's saying that, basically tells her that he went on a date a week before the show, and like he came on like thinking there could be this thing about, you know, a platform building coming out of it, but that he really ended up liking her and he's really here for her. And it was very backhand. I don't know. Everything about this I hated. I wanted him to go away.
Super there for the right reasons.
No, he's so not there for the right reasons. Like, this was, I think, his moment to smooth it over.
Right.
If he thought he was going to be the Bachelor, this was his Bachelor audition and he failed. So, like, I mean, because there is no way after he did that and like what comes later in the episode that they could ever try to spin him into something to be a lead. So he failed.
Right. There's no way that they can be like, yeah, we're going to give you this platform that you want. Like,
no, because what they want is for someone to have an interesting and compelling story. There is nothing interesting or compelling that has been revealed to us about him at all.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think someone like Connor, who tells the story about, you know, battling addiction because he was, you know, in this scene because he's trying to make it as a musician, and, you know, he was trying to hide from certain things and blah, blah, like all this different stuff. Like, we know so much more about him.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what Thomas says he does for a living. I remember nothing about him.
He wasn't
other than the
gym
fact
owner,
that
was he?
No, that's Mike. I forget what he does because I kind of just want to forget him. But
touché.
I feel like he's not. I don't know. I feel like it's going to come out. I feel like she's going to finally figure it out because, I mean, he basically told her, but I think she wasn't wanting to hear it. You know, I mean, he said all of the things that he said in his response made it very clear. Like, first and foremost, I was not here for you. Conveniently, I think you're all right, so I'm still here, is what I, like, you know? And I mean, he then tries to, like, strengthen that later in the episode, and I thought he was going to flat out just lie and say he was in love with her to stay around. I really thought he was going to do that, and I was going to get so angry. Because
right? I mean, like,
there is no way.
If you are, like, auditioning for like, that's what you do. Like,
well, they tell them at a certain point, like, if you have not told the lead that you are, like, you say you're falling in love is the first step. And then you say, like, you are in love. Like, so that's, like, the way. So the falling in love is, like, for the people that they're like, well, I'm not ready to say I'm in love with them. It's like, well, you're falling. You're baby steps. So it's like, I you know, they definitely push them at certain points. But, like, if he had said that on the third week, I was curious if he did, because I was like, all right, he doesn't mean it, one, if he does. Right. But two, like, then it gets into crazy territory. Yeah. But it's like, I kind of wanted him to lie and say he was, because I wanted to see what her response would be. Because, I mean, the normal, like, response for anyone would be, that's insane. It's way too early. Even in the Bachelor universe, because you've talked with this person for probably all of 20 minutes, like, individually.
But come on, at least wait till, like, date 4.
Yeah, it's